I'm sorry, it's objectively abnormal to have the leader of the free world falling asleep every damn day. What are we doing? Why is no one saying, hey, it's a little strange that our 80-year-old president is farting in his diapers and falling asleep every day while actively decomposing on the timeline? Why is there not a single news article about this? Have you not learned your lesson from Joe Brandon? What the is going on? I'm sorry. This is not normal. He is literally a rotting corpse. Why are we not? What is happening? All right, we're getting to situation monitoring, ladies and gentlemen. Back to the Strait of Hormuz.
The Iranian counteroffer was swift and absolute. I have just read the response from Iran's so-called representatives. I don't like it, Trump wrote on social media. He went on to call it totally unacceptable. There had been hope for an agreement to reopen the Strait of Hormuz for 30 days to allow negotiations on a long-term deal. But now, the path forward is unclear. Last week, President Trump, citing progress on U.S.-Iran negotiations, abruptly paused Operation Project Freedom, planned to provide U.S. military protection to commercial ships through the Strait of Hormuz. President Trump didn't say what specifically he objected to in Iran's counteroffer, but the future of Iran's nuclear program has been the major sticking point from the beginning. The president has sent mixed messages on Iran's nuclear material. In an interview last month, he said he didn't care about removing Iran's remaining stockpile of enriched uranium, saying, quote, "That's so far underground, I don't care about that." But he's now insisting the U.S. seize Iran's enriched uranium.
Can you tell us what you think about extracting the uranium from Iran?
Yeah, we're going to get it.
How will you get it, sir?
We're going to get it.
As the war enters its 11th week, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu told 60 Minutes the war can't end until Iran turns over that nuclear material.
I think it accomplished a great deal, but it's not over because there's still nuclear material, enriched uranium, that has to be taken out of Iran.
Last week, Iran continued to block commercial ships from crossing the Strait of Hormuz, fired on U.S. ally United Arab Emirates, and attempted to attack U.S. naval ships, prompting U.S. attacks in return. Still, President Trump insisted the ceasefire remains in place. This morning, we are hearing again from the Iranians, the Iranian Foreign Ministry, saying that all they are doing is insisting on Iran's legitimate rights and saying it is the United States that is making unreasonable demands. George?
And John, this week, this summit with China was originally postponed because of the war with Iran, but the president can't postpone it again.
No, it is on, and this is a highly consequential summit. It's the first meeting in China with a U.S. president and the Chinese leader in nearly a decade, the last one being Trump in 2017. A huge agenda, artificial intelligence, trade, Taiwan, and now, of course, Iran will be a major topic of discussion. The White House wants the Chinese to cut off trade with Iran.
Over the last 15 years, it's gone up many, many times, and I think it's a very important thing to mention. I mention it all the time, having to do with other subjects, and then I bring in autism. Anything having to do with medical, I always bring in autism. On another topic, we're looking very seriously at natural 7-OH and getting that approved, natural 7-OH. And we'll take a look at that very strongly. I think Oz and everybody, we're looking to see if we can do something there. A lot of people are asking for it. And thank you very much for the work on that. And with that, do you have any questions?
As you mentioned that you were going to be meeting with the generals on Iran, you rejected a deal from Iran over the weekend. Can you tell us anything about that proposal and what, if any, effort will be made to break this deal?
It was just unacceptable. You know, a lot of people said, well, does he have a plan? Yeah, of course they do. I have the best plan ever. I mean, Iran has been defeated militarily, totally. They have a little left. They probably built up during this period of time. We'll knock that out in about a day. But I have a plan. You know, it's a very simple plan. I don't know why you don't say it like it is. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. They're very dangerous. They're very volatile. It's a terrible thing that's happened over there. They've killed 42,000 people in the last 2 months. 42,000. At least that's what we know of. 42,000 people. They killed numerous people over the last week, but they killed 42,000 people a month ago, a month and a half ago. They were unarmed protesters, not at all violent protesters, and they started taking them out, shooting them. So we're not going to let them. That's the plan. You know, people say, what's the plan? The plan is very simple. The blockade, first of all, is a part of military genius, just like Venezuela was military genius. We have the greatest military in the world by far. And we're stocked up with great ammunition. We have much better stuff than we did 2 months ago.
You know what that means. When Donald Trump says we have a plan, you know his ass has no plan, okay? Which is exactly what's going on. He has no plan. The idea that, like, instead of securing a deal 2 days prior to the China summit, he's threatening to escalate militarily. I mean, what is the plan at this point? He's going to accelerate the bleeding. It's already hemorrhaging. America has lost this, okay? I've said this over and over again. Stockpiles are down. America has shown its ass to the rest of the world. We don't have the same force projection capabilities we once thought we had. A middle power is able to hold the entire global economy in a standstill, okay, against the most powerful military force on the planet, okay? The United States spends more money on its military than 8 of its peer and near peer adversaries combined. Okay, this includes Russia, this includes China. Like, it's not even a question who has the most powerful military on the planet. And the fact that they were not able to pry open the Strait of Hormuz militarily and defeat Iran militarily shows that America does not have that same power any longer. But there is a way to open the Strait of Hormuz. Diplomacy, okay? Iran has shown its willingness to engage America diplomatically over and over again. As a matter of fact, to a degree that one would even consider naivete, right? America and Israel has over Iran in the process of negotiations twice. Donald Trump is the guy who ripped open the JCPOA agreement that Iran had set up with Barack Obama in the past, a multilateral commitment from China, Russia, European partners, the International Atomic Energy Agency. It was working. It was successful. And Iran got limited sanctions relief in the process. And Donald Trump came into office shortly thereafter and destroyed it. And he did it for Israel because Israel was the only country that was against the JCPOA. And they let it be known over and over again, very publicly. Benjamin Netanyahu came to the United States of America and delivered a speech shitting on Barack Obama in front of Congress. All of that led to Iran finally closing up the Strait of Hormuz, something that they had not done in 47 years, okay? And here we are. Donald Trump is failing to pry open the strait militarily. Iran is still maintaining the same militant posture. Iran is basically saying, look, these are our demands. They've been the same since like week 2 of Operation Epic Fail. And Trump is now going back to potential military escalation. This will only accelerate the bleeding because the only path to opening the Strait of Hormuz right now as it stands is not this long-standing, possible months-long conflict and standoff, but it's diplomacy. There's also one group that is in favor of the continuation of this conflict, and that's Israel. So remember that.
We first did the attack, which knocked them for a loop. But very simple. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Can't have it. And if they did have it, the Middle East would be gone, Israel would be gone, and they'd hit Europe probably next. We're doing the service to the world. And this has gone on for 47 years. Other presidents and leaders of other countries that have the power should have done it, but they didn't do it. But it's a very simple plan. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, and they won't have a nuclear weapon. And they didn't want to go that far. You can believe it. They didn't. How stupid. They stupid people? They didn't want to believe it. They think that, well, I'll get tired of this, or I'll get bored, or I'll have some pressure. But there's no pressure. There's no pressure at all. We're going to have a complete victory. We've already, in theory, had a complete victory from the military standpoint. The military, look, their Navy is dead. They have 150. They had 159 ships. Right now they have 0, other than little speedboats that go around that got taken out 8 a day by us. They have no Air Force. They have no anti-aircraft. Now they probably put the shoulder jobs into service over the last 3 weeks, probably. But essentially they have no anti-aircraft. They have no radar. And frankly, their leaders have been killed at the first level, second level, and half at the third level. And then they come back and they want to negotiate. And they give us it's a stupid proposal. Nobody would take it, although Obama would have taken it, Biden would have taken it. What they took was far worse. So we stopped them twice. We stopped them when I terminated the worst deal probably ever made in the history of our country in terms of defense. That was the Iran nuclear deal penned by Barack Hussein Obama. That would have given Iran a nuclear weapon within a year. They would have had it years ago. I terminated that in my first term. And then when that beautiful plane right there hit them hard, We really hit them hard. And they told me, I want to just tell you this, because they like to say, oh, well, maybe it wasn't that hard a hit. Iran told me very strongly, because they intend to give us the nuclear dust, as I call it. It's easier than talking about other terms, because it's a term everyone knows. But the nuclear dust, which is what we hit, they told me, number one, you're getting it, but you're going to have to take it out, because the site was so obliterated that there's only 1 or 2 countries in the world that could get it. It's so deep and got hit so hard that there's no way they have the equipment to move it. You and China are the only 2 countries in the world that could take it out. So we talked about it, and they said, you'll have to take it out because we don't have the capability of doing it. So for those people that like to say that those great pilots in those great planes, well, we just ordered 22 more of them, new and improved, that those great pilots didn't do their job, they did their job. 1 o'clock in the morning with no moon, no light, no nothing. Every single bomb hit its targets. And then, as you know, we shot some incredible things that nobody else has. Nobody has a military like we have. We shot the Tomahawks from a submarine 200 miles away, and that went on top of it. But every one of those, including the Tomahawks, every one of those weapons and shots hit perfectly. And they said to me, just to put it on the record, they said to me, there are only 2 countries in the entire world could ever get that stuff out of there because we don't have the equipment and nobody else. They said China and the United States. So I just want to let you know, those pilots did an unbelievable job, very dangerous job at 1 o'clock in the morning. Think of it, no moon, no nothing. We had no light, purposely. And every single one of those bombs went right down an air chute in a granite mountain and exploded. And they are unable to get it, even if they wanted to. But we're not going to take a chance, so that's part of the deal.
So, sir, are you saying that Iran agreed to allow all their enriched uranium?
Yeah. Well, they did it 2 days ago. They did 2 days ago. They said, you're going to have to take it. We were going to go with them. But they changed their mind because they didn't put it in the paper. So when they sent us this document that we waited 4 days for, that should have taken 10 minutes to do, look, very simple. We get that. They guarantee no nuclear weapons for a very long period of time, and a couple of other minor things, but they just can't get there. So they agree with us, and then they take it back. They said to us that it was so badly obliterated, it was the word they actually used, that was my original word, that it got challenged by some of the fake news. And it wasn't challenged with any knowledge. It was just challenged like they were hoping that this wouldn't have been so successful. No, it was obliterated. We have the greatest military in the world. I built it largely in my first term, and I didn't know I'd be using it quite this much in my second term. But very simply, when they say, does he have a plan? Yeah, I have a plan. The plan is very simple. You know, in war, you have to change. You have to be flexible. You have a lot of plans, but you have to do different plans in different days. But I have a great plan. But the plan is they cannot have a nuclear weapon. And they didn't say that in their letter.
Mr. The leadership changes that you've talked about in Iran, is this still a leadership that you believe you can negotiate with, can ultimately reach a peace deal with?
Well, you have 2. You have the moderates and you have the lunatics. And I think the moderates are more respected. The lunatics want to fight till the end. You know, it'll be a very quick fight. But I call them. You have, just like our country, we have lunatics too. I call them lunatics. I call them stupid people too. But in Iran, they have the moderates that are dying to make a deal, and then you have the lunatics. And I guess they're a little bit afraid of the lunatics, but and why not? The level of ferocity for protests. You know, the people are watching it. They want to go out on the streets. They have no weapons. They have no guns. We thought the Kurds were going to give us weapons, but the Kurds disappointed us. The Kurds take. They have a great reputation in Congress. Congress says, oh, they fight so hard. They fight hard when they get paid. So I'm very disappointed in the Kurds, but they were given. I said it wasn't going to work, by the way. I just have to say it. I disagreed with what they did. They gave it. I said, they'll never get there. And I was right. I like to be right. In this case, too bad, but we sent some guns with ammunition, and they were supposed to be delivered, but they kept it. I said they're going to keep it, but what do I know? I've only been doing this a short period. What do I know?
For the time being, the ceasefire remains in place.
What?
For the time being, the ceasefire remains in place.
It's unbelievably weak. I would call it the weakest right now After reading that piece of garbage they sent us, I didn't even finish reading it. I said, I'm not going to waste my time reading it. I would say it's one of the weakest. Right now, it's on life support. They understand these are all medical people. Dr. Oz, life support is not a good thing.
Bad prognostic.
I would say the ceasefire is on massive life support, where the doctor walks in and says, sir, your loved one has approximately a one.
I don't even know what the f to say about this. Yeah, it's on life support because of you, jackass. Is because you care more about Israel than you do about making sure that Thailand continues having an electrical grid, okay? You care more about making sure that Israel's appetite is satiated for death and destruction than you do about making sure that Japan has sufficient energy, making sure that South Korea has sufficient energy. It's ridiculous. Okay, it is completely ridiculous.
Percent chance of living. Yeah.
Mr. President.
Daniel, go ahead.
Yep,
One of the best reporters in Washington.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Oz referenced this a little early. 2 questions on healthcare, if I can. The Council of Economic Advisors released a report saying that the most favored nation drug deals will generate about $529 billion in domestic savings over the next 10 years. Across all markets.
We are learning new details about Iran's demands to end the war. President Trump says the latest Iranian proposal is, quote, totally unacceptable. The Iranians today are calling it reasonable and generous. Iranian state media says the counterproposal calls for recognition of sovereignty over the blockaded Strait of Hormuz, among other demands. There was no mention of nuclear weapons. Let's get to CNN's Julia Benbrook at the White House for the latest this morning. So totally unacceptable, the president says. Now what?
New Gallup statement just dropped. There is no alternative but to accept the rights of the Iranian people as laid out in the 14-point proposal. Any other approach will be completely inconclusive, nothing but one failure after another. The longer they drag their feet, the more American taxpayers will pay for it.
Eagle, in Persian, can accommodate all types of fighter jets and bombers, in addition to...
Bro, they got the F-4s in the caves, man. They got their fighter jets.
Iran's army on Tuesday unveiled its first underground base for fighter jets designed to withstand possible strikes by U.S. bunker-busting bombs, state media reported. The base, named OGAB 44, Eagle, in Persian, can accommodate all types of fighter jets and bombers, in addition to drones, the official news agency IRNA said, releasing images and videos from inside the base. The exact location of the base was not revealed, but state media said it was, at the depth of hundreds of meters under the mountains, and capable of withstanding...
This is from 2022. No, I know it's an older... I know it's older footage. I just think it's crazy that even their hangars are inside of the mountain. By the way, this is straight up North Korea's whole thing, okay? This is North Korea's influence. Like, I'm not even joking, because I often, will say, oh, North Korea, what kind of junior partner role could they be playing in, Ukraine or whatever? This is literally... This is the Democratic People's Republic of Korea's, multi-decade planning and aid, okay? They got straight up genocided by the Allied force of the Korean War, and we're like, never again. We're building everything underground. You slander the best Korea too much, little bro. Straight up, this is Jusha, 100%. Same with Hamas. They went into every country that is an adversary nation to American imperialism, where we're like, well, we will aid you. We will offer you our support. We will help you build underground missile bunkers, underground missile facilities. We will help you figure out, we will give you the greatest tunnel tech.
Landing bombs by strategic U.S. bombers. In May last year, Iran's army revealed an Air Force base for drones under the Zagros mountain range in the west of the country. The latest unveiling comes the day before Iran marks Air Force Day, part of the build-up to the 44th anniversary of the 1979 Islamic Revolution. OGAB 44 is one of numerous tactical underground air bases for the army.
This was the first ever threat I saw of Bonzer Barry as well. He's he's great. He's a great OSINT guy, very reliable. I don't think it would be far-fetched to say that Hamas weathering 15 months of air bombardment and ground invasion has a long historical thread tying back the U.S. dropping over 500 million tons of bombs on North Korea. There are many factors that allowed the Al-Qassam brigades to emerge from all corners of Gaza on Sunday, but a major one was their spider web of underground tunnels, a complex, endless maze of reinforced tunnels, 50 to 100 meters underground with over 5,000 access shafts. Following the U.S.'s genocidal air campaign in North Korea, described by Ken LeMay, General LeMay, bombs Curtis LeMay, Curtis bombs away LeMay. As burning down every village in North Korea, the KPA started building a massive network of tunnels along the DMZ. North Korea is regarded as the most tunneled nation in the world by military experts. North Korea also built underground command centers, industrial sites, and the Pyongyang Metro, the deepest metro on Earth, capable of withstanding a nuclear strike. The same year they completed the metro, North Korea dispatched an engineer regiment to North Vietnam to help them construct an underground military headquarters and pass on their expertise / equipment in their fight against the U.S. invasion. North Korean participation in the Vietnam War. Newly available Vietnamese documents revealed that in 1965, North Korea dispatched an engineer regiment to North Vietnam to help the North Vietnamese construct the secret underground headquarters complex. The underground headquarters was to be built in a remote mountainous region northwest of Hanoi, for use by North Vietnam's leaders in the event of an emergency, such as the destruction of the North Vietnam's headquarters facilities in Hanoi by U.S. air attacks or an invasion of North Vietnam by U.S. and South Vietnamese forces. The secret headquarters was specifically designed to provide protection against both bombs and chemical weapons. The construction of their underground headquarters complex began in October 1965 after the arrival of the North Korean Engineer Regiment. The North Korean engineers, who clearly had considerable experience in building such underground complexes, provided technical assistance, trained the Vietnamese to operate the equipment, and worked alongside the Vietnamese, carrying out the construction of this complex and in assembling and installing hundreds of tons of equipment, including an air filtration system in the headquarters complex. Fast forward to 2006. Hezbollah humiliated the Israeli occupying forces when they invaded South Lebanon, a feat that rested largely on their underground infrastructure. It was built with the assistance of North Korean engineers. A.B. Abrams notes that the layout closely mirrors the layout of the DMZ network. The effectiveness of Hezbollah's tight security network in southern Lebanon, its emphasis on using complex and often extremely deep underground tunnel and bunker networks to move troops, store munitions, and infiltrate enemy territory safe from detection or air attacks, and more recently, its deployment of vast arsenals of rocket artillery and ballistic missiles, all closely reflect not only Korean influences, but active Korean assistance. KPA advisors have reportedly assisted Hezbollah in building the complex tunnel infrastructure deemed key to its success in 2006, and Israel's discoveries since then of infiltration tunnels under its own territory meant for wartime penetration were highly reminiscent of those discovered by South Korea coming from the DPRK. It is notable that layout of the tunnel network in southern Lebanon closely mirrors that on the northern side of the inter-Korean demilitarized zone. To provide some indication of how extensive and well fortified the Korean-built tunnel and bunker network in southern Lebanon was, the region south of the Litani River alone was thought to have over 600 ammunition and weapons bunkers, 8 or more meters underground, alongside better fortified command bunkers constructed to a depth of 40 meters using poured concrete, similar structure to the Hamas tunnel system as well. These were not as deep as those in Korea itself, designed to withstand multiple American nuclear strikes, but were still sufficient to weather anything in Israel's arsenal or any known non-nuclear bunker buster in service in the Western Bloc at the time. The network built in southern Lebanon was 25 kilometers long. Western analysts also believe that North Korean engineers have been valuable advisors to Iran in construction of their underground facilities. Some even believe that North Korea had a direct role in the construction of the Eagle 44 and Fort Al. Palestinians in Gaza have long history working in tunnels dating back to the 80s due to the blockade, but the scope, design, and purpose has drastically expanded since then. The first official tunnel operation against the Israeli occupying forces will be conducted in 2001. Latest designs are bunker buster resistant, using a combination of poured concrete arches, sandbags, and blast doors to fortify the soft sand and clay. Hamas tunnel picture on the left and North Korean picture on the right. Look at that. There are a lot of unanswered questions as to how, Barry writes, there are a lot of unanswered questions as to just how significant Iranian and Lebanese aid to Hamas was leading up to the Al-Aqsa flood. But I don't think it would be crazy to say that they are at the very least received designs / technical knowledge from them as they did with the weapons. North Korea has been intervening on America's aggression for decades on the down low. In turn, the U.S., Israel, and South Korea have been training for tunnel warfare for years, but no modern army has dared to actually do it. I think it's an Israeli think tank, but it's got more images. Yeah. Hezbollah's land of tunnels, the North Korean-Iranian connection. Yeah. So obviously tunnel warfare has been the anti-imperialist's greatest weapon for a century almost at this point. Underground combat is a bloodbath. Yes, you will never be able to figure out exactly the complex web of tunnel systems. So anytime you enter a tunnel system, oftentimes these are also booby trapped. You're walking into a death trap. These things also have shut off points as well on numerous locations. They can blow up. They can booby trap them. And you know, they can bury whoever chooses to enter these tunnels. But this is what Israel was saying the whole time. So there are tunnels. Yes, we've never denied the existence of tunnels. There is basically, what is it like? An unbelievable network of tunnels underneath Gaza. Yes, this is true. It's also entirely removed from what is above it. Okay. Yes, of course. Israel uses the existence of the known tunnel network underneath Gaza to justify blowing up hospitals on top of the tunnel system. Okay? We do not agree with the justification that Israel uses to blow up the hospitals. This is not a reasonable justification to blow up a hospital. There is not really any justification to blow up a hospital. Israel itself has actually, ironically, been the party in this conflict, the only belligerent in this conflict, the occupying force that has gutted out hospitals, Palestinian hospitals, oftentimes developed with and run with foreign money, with donors from all around the world. They will use those hospitals as command and control infrastructure when they actually invaded the Gaza Strip and occupied the Gaza Strip. Hamas has never done this. Israel simply claims Hamas does this in an effort to justify targeting and destroying the entire healthcare infrastructure of the Gaza Strip. IRGC hats go crazy. The Kim Il-sung have crazy hat game. The IRGC hats go crazy. The Cuban hats go crazy too. I don't know what's up with the hats. When I was in Cuba, I really wanted to get one, but I didn't have time. And I also don't even know if it's legal to have that. Have you guys ever seen the Cuban hats? Like it's like kind of funny actually. It literally looks like the one hat that I wear all the time with the pigeon on it, the skateboard hat that I wear. You don't need to delve into hats again. The IRGC hats, I feel like the bill is so long. I don't know what it is. Like I don't know why it comes across like look. Like like look at how long the bill is, dude. What the I guess it's it's blocking out more sun is sun protection. And then wait, no, not that. Hold on. Cuban military hats. Cuban military hat. Oh, no, not that. These aren't correct either. I'm looking for those specific like civilian like not these hats, like the famous ones. I'm looking at the ones that are like a regular casual hat. What are they called? The field hat? Is it a field? No, not the Fidel cap. No, there's a new one. No, not the one that I already have. I have one. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the classic, the military one. I'm talking about the one that looks like a casual hat. The one that looks like the IRGC hat. The soft caps. Yes. These are fire. These are dope. That's what I wanted. As you know, I'm Iranian, and you, bitch, have never stood under the Iranian sun. Otherwise, you'd understand that shit. 50 degrees Celsius or 122 Fahrenheit. They are making Vicky Palladino delete all her tweets, apologize for her tweets, and remove all government branding from her Twitter account. That is a unbelievable victory. That is an unconditional victory for not only Zoran, but for me as well. Another op is down, folks. Anyway, how do we get to the North Korean tunnels? Oh, we were looking at the incredible tunnel systems they have for even their planes. A Wall Street Journal reports the UAE has been secretly carrying out attacks on Iran, casting the Gulf monarchy as an active combatant in a war, which it has been Iran's biggest target. One strike in April hit an oil refinery in Iran's Levant Island. The attack led to a major fire and caused the refinery to be shut down for several months. Iran responded with missile and drone strikes against the United Arab Emirates and Kuwait. Now we get to see a clearer picture of why Iran was so punishing of the United Arab Emirates beyond just like, I guess, beyond just hating the vibes of the UAE. Mr. Trump and Xi Jinping are reportedly considering a deal to allow China to invest $1 trillion in the U.S., largely to build factories on American soil. Trump on the verge of making massive error. Dude, he is literally reheating Obama's nachos every day, okay? It's unbelievable. This is literally just Obama. What the? Yo, straight up. JCPOA is currently being discussed. The ceasefire that we have right now is JCPOA, but bigger, okay? And if he ends up getting Chinese factory investment on U.S. soil, he's just Obama. He is literally white man Obama. He's like, I didn't like that Obama was black while doing the things he was doing. Okay? That's incredible. Hold on, I'm tweeting. Yeah. Oh, and he does. It's really funny because whenever they get mad, whenever he is brought, whenever people bring up like, well, isn't this just the JCPOA? He just straight up says, no, Obama did it, but did it stupidly. Like, you're just doing JCPOA, but with more favorable conditions for Iran, okay? And you're also doing Chinese investment on U.S. soil for American factories, but once again, something that Obama also did, but doing it not as a black man, I guess. Yeah, way more favorable terms for U.S. adversaries. Which I don't think is bad if it leads to long-term peace, stability. Actually, I'm not even going to put that part in there. Fuck it. He gave up a better deal than the JCPOA with Ali Khamenei in favor of Israel. Yeah. Are you racist? You didn't hate on Obama when he did these things? Is it because Trump is pasty white? No, I don't have any. No, I'm not hating on. If these deals actually come to fruition, they're great. Okay. If these deals actually come to fruition, they're great. They're just, I would say. I'm in favor of stability and peace. Okay. The problem is the way he's arriving at these deals is he's just blundering. Obviously, the chatter was joking, by the way. I don't think chatter is saying that like I'm demonstrating anti-white racism. And I've been unbelievably critical of Barack Obama because I think it's, appropriate to be critical of Barack Obama. But there are certain things that I've always held up in Barack Obama's foreign policy agenda that I thought were very good. JCPOA, the Cuban normalization arrangement, like these were good things that Barack Obama did. Sometimes they were so good that it even confused the adversaries themselves. Like JCPOA was not confusing. It was a long-standing, almost a decade-long process of negotiations that finalized with all of these other countries involved in it. But with Cuba, the Cubans were surprised. Like they didn't even understand it. They were like, "Why the fuck is this happening? America's never been good to us." Anyway, Obama has also done a whole deal of a litany of war crimes, drone warfare, extrajudicial killings of American citizens. All this stuff. Didn't close Guantanamo Bay, did the troop surge in Iraq. I can go on for decades, okay? However, Obama also didn't get the JCPOA by closing the Strait of Hormuz, creating a global energy crisis, collapsing the energy markets, and behaved like Israel's little puppet in the process. He actually expended a good deal of social capital that he had and caused a lot of anger and resentment from the Israeli side, which I think was objectively a good thing. And Libya as well. Who could forget? Obviously, God, there's, like I said, I could talk for hours, if not for years, if not for decades, about the many failures of Barack Obama in terms of his foreign policy. That's why I was giving you the much shorter part of Barack Obama's legacy that I think is worthy of praise, rather than the parts of Barack Obama's legacy that are worthy of tremendous criticism.
And pussy too.
Anyway, so Obama's here. Whoa, Obama, what are you doing here?
And pussy too.
What? That's crazy. Anyway, it is very funny though that the guy who was responsible for ripping up the JCPOA and then doing the Abraham Accords is now finally arriving at JCPOA 2, Electric Boogaloo.
And pussy too.
And Sina Tusi says, Trump has no good options on Iran. He could have stayed in the Obama deal. I like this tie, by the way. I hate to admit, I'm a suit guy now, so I notice these things. Trump has no good options in Iran. He could have stayed in the Obama deal or taken the reportedly stronger arrangement on the table before the war. Instead, he chose relentless escalation with Iran since 2018, motivated by his own grudges, hubris, and the path Netanyahu and the Israel lobby sent him on. In doing so, he gave Iran the opportunity to activate its innate leverage over the of Hormuz and pull the U.S. into a strategic quagmire. Now he's sinking deeper into an escalation trap despite there being no military solution. I just finished his book, A Promised Land, and from the 2007 housing crisis of Palestine, the Jeremiah Wright and Trump, his whole position has been, I know what the morally correct position is, but we neoliberally ball anyway. Yeah, in some respects, that makes it worse, I think. Closer look at the tie. While he's perfectly still, lol.
During the earliest years of their children's lives. Second,
This is so funny. Dude, okay, I'm not one of these liberals, but I'm about to say something that's a little libbed up, okay? I was literally screaming about Brandon's brain leaking out of his ears since 2019. I said he shouldn't run. He's unbelievably old. His faculties have diminished. And the media took its sweet-ass time to get there. Right? Perhaps far too late. And it definitely played a role in the diminished credibility of mainstream media for not openly covering that Brandon was demented. I will, however, say this. This is not normal. It's not normal. The media's doing it again. So perhaps they have a uniparty principle when it comes to hiding the fact that our president is demented. Okay? I'm sorry. It's objectively abnormal to have the leader of the free world falling asleep every damn day. What are we doing? Why is no one saying, hey, it's a little strange that our 80-year-old president is shitting himself and farting in his diapers and falling asleep every day while actively decomposing on the timeline? Why is there not a single news article about this? Have you not learned your lesson from Joe Brandon? What the is going on? I'm sorry. This is not normal. He is literally a rotting corpse. Why are we not? What is happening? Why is this the normal? Why is this the new norm? Why do we have two rotting carcasses back to back? He's dead, bro. He's dead. Let it go. He was blinking, you absolute moron. Oh my God, the cope. Every time I see this, David Pakman agrees with me. Okay, this is one area of agreement because guess what? We're not agreeing with one another. We're just observing reality. Okay? This is genuinely insane. What the are we doing? And it's like, this is truly alarming, okay? This is alarming. This guy is sleeping all the time and possibly farting, okay? Don't forget, there's reports that he might be farting all the time too. We don't know if those reports are substantiated. I feel like if he was farting a lot in his sleep, like people would probably at some point leak it, right? Because he's constantly around not just like, Secret Service and staffers but he's also around like celebrities and shit. Like, I'm sure if he farted in front of Messi would be like, that's weird that the president farted in front of me.
In the Perinatal Improvement Collaborative hospitals, we have reduced maternal mortality by 41.5%, which is true.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. What are we doing, man? He's also around kids too. They definitely ain't going to keep quiet. He's lost his fastball too. He said Dumbocrats. Shaq itself.
By some very bad people. Now I'm the hunter. It's much better when you're the hunter, but these are bad people and they'll give you no support at all, no matter how good it is. I mean, as an example, I don't know what the numbers are, but if we go to Congress to get something approved, which we get, but you can say that we're going to reduce drug prices by 80%, and we won't get one Democrat vote. I don't know how they get away with it. That's why we call them the Democrats. We have a new name, the Democrats.
Oh, no. That's terrible. The Democrats? Oh, he's washed. When my goat is washed... My goat's so washed. What? Check my last message. Setting aside the fact that he's obviously not blinking, it's doubly funny for the White House to say he's blinking while in the middle of wartime negotiations, whereas the saying goes, you really shouldn't blink first. Okay, God, megaphonics. Are you a dad already? What's going on? I know you're married, but that was the most dad joke you could have come up with. Jesus Christ. You really wanted to go back. You wanted to roll the clock back on that one. You were like, check Bro, Livophonics said, bro, check these messages, okay? He went from wife maxing to dad maxing. What the hell, man? Bro, you can't lie like that. Line wouldn't have gone hard in 2017. Let me have this. Yeah, it's almost been 10 years, man. Or you know, if Trump farted in front of Messi, the Five would spend 20 minutes saying that farting in front of the most famous celebrity in the world is a tool that the president is using to assert his dominance over Messi. He's consciously farting because he can. You're not wrong. That is definitely what would happen.
They're dumb people, and they just can't do it. I've been waiting so long for them to change, but they just keep losing, and they're going to keep losing with their policy.
Yeah, they're going to keep losing. That's why we're trying to cheat.
Truly incredible. And this is compared with the 5.9% decline in benchmark hospitals.
I can't believe it, dude. What are we doing? What a dumbass country we live in. Like, we have so much promise. Okay? We have so much potential, and it's a nation run by two carcasses back to back, corrupt tyrants, carcasses, only invested in advancing the interests of corporations and the super wealthy. Ugh. Have you seen this nonsense about you on change.org? Tell Democrats not to cross the Hassan Piker red line. Brother, why are you giving this any attention whatsoever? Stop Anti-Semitism started this link, this petition. Do we think Stop Anti-Semitism is a Democrat? He's got 1,387 petitions. I mean, 1,387 signatures just signed. Okay, dude. Thank you. I think this chat would troll me into going to prison. Like, they'd be like, oh, I'm such a troll. I'm such a troll. Hey, you have to pay attention to this thing.
But the weakest,
For the time being, the ceasefire remains in place.
it's unbelievably weak. I would say I would call it the weakest right now.
From the standpoint of weakness, this is the weakest that they've ever
After
been.
reading that piece of garbage they sent us, I didn't even finish reading it. They said I'm not going to waste my time reading it. I would say it's one of the weakest right now. It's on life support. They understand. These are all medical people. Dr. Oz, life support is not a good thing. Do you agree? I would say the ceasefire is on massive life support, where the doctor walks in and says, sir, your loved one has approximately a 1% chance of living.
I already read it, Laughing Man. The Quebec paper. I read it already. I saw that they wrote about me. I know. The JCPOA has been characterized by Trump and other opponents as a kind of woke capitulation by Democrats, whereas in reality it was the product of cold realist calculation that the U.S. global power would obviously go into relative decline over time, and thus it would be better to negotiate favorable terms for a drawdown, including preventing an Iranian nuclear weapon in exchange for sanctions relief, rather than have it collapse in unwinnable confrontations. How can we see that? Oh, good question. You can rewind. And right now, as it stands, you can't rewind unless you subscribe. Okay? But if you subscribe to the Piker Broadcasting Service, the People's Broadcasting Service, you can send me links with no guarantees that I'll click on them. You can also use the emotes all around the platform. And you can also rewind. How do I rewind if I can't afford a sub? Then if you're a broke boy, then sorry, no rewind for you. It's not up to me. That's just how the platform works. But I guess you can get gifted a sub. That's right. You can get gifted a sub by a wealthy benefactor. Closed Presents, thank you for the 20 gifted subs. Michael Fuscoar, thank you for the 10 gifted subs. For all the broke boys in the chat, you can either use your Prime sub, which is free, or if you're lucky, you can get gifted a subscription from one of the many Qatari Oilers in the chat. That's right. Those are the ways that you can do it. What Kami says, thank you for the 10 gifted subs. There's some reports that Pakistan has quietly allowed Iran to park military aircraft, including an RC-130 reconnaissance plane, at its strategic Noor Khan airbase near Rawalpindi, even as Islamabad publicly presented itself as a mediator between Tehran and Washington. Iran has also moved civilian aircraft to Afghanistan, with one Mahan airplane relocated from Kabul to Herat for safety during Pakistan's airstrikes on Kabul in March. Pakistan and Afghan Taliban officials denied the claims, while U.S. officials say the arrangement appeared aimed at shielding Iranian assets from American strikes. Where are you going? Israel's now deploying lifelike mannequin decoys dressed in helmets, tactical vests, and masks, and military uniforms to bait Hezbollah FPV drones into wasting their munitions on fake targets. Yeah. I think Hezbollah knows to target the streaming running ones instead of the obviously brave ones. What is this Looney Tunes shit? Yeah, I don't think this is gonna work, and the only reason why I say that is because the Israeli occupying forces oftentimes run away. What is this photo of the year? Wait, is that real? No, this is AI, isn't it? That's not a real FPV drone, is it? That's AI. That looks AI. Trump meme. What is he doing?
Okay, we have it in our fire. Boom. Okay, we have it in our fire. Boom.
Yeah, it might be a real FPV drone footage that they AI base boosted, like they enhanced it with AI. Axios says two U.S. officials say Trump is now leaning towards taking some form of military action against Iran to increase pressure on the regime and force concessions on its nuclear program. Jeremy Boise, thank you for the 10 gifted subs. By the way, is it a hype train? No. It's not a hype train. Never mind. My daughter is 16 today. Can you please say happy birthday, Carol? Happy birthday, Carol.